Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ozarks' first meteorologist, Tom Schmidt, and with me today is our weather intern, Miss Rachel Mosshammer. Welcome. Now, Rachel, you've actually been here since late May, early June.
Yeah.
It's been about a month.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So we thought we'd take this time and introduce you folks to Rachel here online, and you can catch the social media post later on. But here, right now, I just want to have people get to know you a little bit, who you are, why you're in Springfield, where you go to school, all that kind of information. Rachel, what can you tell us?
Yeah, there's a lot about me.
Yes, there is.
I am a current student at the University of Oklahoma. I'm a meteorology student. I'm here in Springfield because my family's here in Springfield. I have my aunt and uncle here, so I thought that it would be a great starting place for an internship, somewhere where I can kind of, get away from home a little bit and explore some more of the Midwest, and then, of course, be closer to family. So Springfield was a good choice.
It is a good choice. And we have a mutual friend down at OU, Sean Riley, who's from Springfield as well. And he's been a big help to you and a big help to all the other students down there.
Yeah.
He works hard. He really does.
Yeah.
He cares about it. And so what kind of got you interested, I guess, in meteorology? You're going to OU, one of the better programs in the country for meteorology. Not easy. I'm sure you can testify to that. And why would you go through that?
Yeah, I have wanted to be a meteorologist, I think, for as long as I can remember. I used to storm chase with my dad. That's off the record for University of Oklahoma. But I used to storm chase with my dad when I was younger. Not necessarily professionally, definitely the Oklahoma way, as in load up some lawn chairs into the, the pickup truck.
All right, brother.
Yeah, don't condone that. That's not the safe way to view a storm. But I specifically remember one year I was 6 years old. There was a tornado that had touched down in my neighborhood. I lived in rural Oklahoma, so it was like a field. And my mom was not in town, and so my dad threw me in the truck, and then we went down and we drove and saw it. Now, if my mom had been in town, I probably would never want to be a meteorologist because that wouldn't have happened. But yeah, that was kind of what started it all. And
as fate would have it, you just haven't been able to escape from tornadoes or storms at all. Just last year, you were hit by a tornado at your family's home was.
Twice, actually.
Twice?
That was,
Golly.
It's, people say lightning doesn't strike a place more than once. Well, tornadoes do, apparently, in Oklahoma. Yes, they do. I was hit by EF1 in April and then an EF3 in November. So, November EF3 is not really, at 3 a.m. too, not the the greatest time to get a tornado.
All the times. You can't seem to get away. It seems like almost fate has led you into this field and continues to follow you to this day.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel, welcome aboard. You're going to be with us through, I think, about another month, another 6 weeks or so. You've been kind of bounced around on the schedules here. Once a week in the mornings, once a week in the afternoons, then coming in on the weekends as well. What have you kind of found most interesting about maybe just, let me think, because OU's got a pretty good program, but to get out of that school environment and to come to kind of the real deal, kind of the professional environment of how things are done, what's kind of stood out? What have you find most appealing about what you've seen so far here, and then also elsewhere, if the places you've seen?
Yeah, I think the coolest thing about Springfield, obviously Oklahoma has its crazy weather, but I do like that Springfield is very versatile with its weather. You get the severe weather, you get the snow, you get, all the 4 seasons. Oklahoma, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes. You don't always get the snow every year. You definitely, get the severe weather. Don't always get the, the active severe weather season. Sometimes it's a little quieter, but I feel like here it's a little more widespread. So no matter what kind of weather that you like as a meteorologist, you kind of have something to talk about. So
you might be surprised, or maybe not surprised, to know that in 1998, a study was done that proved Springfield, Missouri has the most variable weather in the United States.
I think we talked about that one morning. It makes sense. It makes sense. So
it does make sense.
It's definitely the market for meteorologists.
All right. So one last thing on your introduction is you're pretty involved with something called the American Meteorological Society, And this year you have a chance to serve on their board as their student representation. What's
Yeah.
that like?
First of all, it's one of the greatest opportunities I've had in my academic career so far. It's really cool being able to see, the meteorologists that you watched growing up and serve with them on this board. I think that's the coolest part, is that you're now, working side by side with some of your idols. And I thought that's one of the coolest parts of working on the board. But I got to be a speaker last year at the American Meteorological Society, the broadcast conference. I was the second student from OU to ever do that. So that was really cool. It was really fun. And yeah, it's just been a really cool journey so far. I've only served since January, but, putting together the annual conference and trying to chip in ideas, even as a student, it's really cool that, your voice is still heard and that they really take into consideration that you're the future of the industry. So it's really fun.
It is pretty cool, influencing the minds of the youth.
Yeah.
Ushering in the next round of forecasters.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be graduating at current state. Is it next?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay, all right.
The meteorology program is hard. That's
It is
all
hard.
I'll say.
It does many times add an extra year, maybe two.
Yeah.
A lot of students down there have to deal with that. All right, well, Rachel, we're honored to have you here. Thank you for being an intern in Springfield at Keller 10 with us this year, and look forward to staying in touch.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Sure.
About 6 weeks left for you to go yet.
Yep.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over into a monthly review and a monthly preview. Okay, so June just finished. Yesterday, Monday, was June 30th. Today, Tuesday, July 1st. Looking back at the month of June, Rachel, you look at this and you might think that, well, it's pretty typical, right? Some days above normal, some days below normal. No extreme heat. We had about a 6-day stretch of 90s, but it was only 90, 91, nothing too intense or crazy. Kind of a first taste of summer beginning there. Overall, not bad, pretty good run for June this year.
Yeah. Well, I did not spend that stretch of 90 days here in Springfield. I was in Georgia, and let me tell you,
my
it was
gosh.
just as hot, but they had the humidity, and that it was not pleasant. So,
Yeah, that's a different type down
Yeah.
there. We, our sports reporter, Chris Pinson, he's from, I want to say it's Gainesville, Florida. And down there it does get, 95 to 100 degrees.
Yeah.
With the humidity, with dew points 75 plus every day
Yeah.
in the summer. And so when he comes up here, he's talking about, it's just, regular heat wave. Oh, no big deal. Whatever. I'm used to this.
Yeah.
It's true. It really is true. Go down to the Gulf and you'll find out for yourself.
Well, I'm glad that we haven't had to deal with a lot of that humidity this week. We've had,
Not yet.
the midweek, we've kind of backed off of that, but
Yeah.
pretty sure 4th of July is supposed to come right back up.
It'll become right
Yeah.
back up again. Man. It just wouldn't be right, though, for the
Yeah.
4th of July to not be hot and muggy. So that's the temperature-wise. Turned out pretty seasonal. Now, rainfall, Rachel, again, we had April, May, and now June coming in above normal for rainfall. April and May combined were the wettest 2 months back-to-back we'd ever seen on record in Springfield. And June came in about 2 inches higher than normal for rainfall. We've seen quite a bit of rain this spring, and we thought maybe they'd taper off a little bit. And we had a good week of dry weather when we had the 90-degree days in there. But, man, these past couple days, over the weekend, too, scattered rain showers, waves of rain, big storms came through, of course, Sunday. Man, kind of wild. Can't seem to shake loose entirely on the rain.
Well, I mean, I'm not complaining. It is, I know that it's not necessarily the most popular opinion, but I do love the kind of gloomy weather and the rain and all of that. It's some of my favorite, just to kind of, the sunshine is great during the summer.
Oh, yeah.
A nice, peaceful rain, it's always nice. So,
It is nice. That raises a question. What would you say is your most favorite favorite type of weather?
oh my gosh, probably the rain. Probably
the rain?
a nice, okay, I have to to put the scenario out there because I feel like people are like,
Okay.
oh, it's so gloomy. You love gloomy weather. No, I think a gloomy weather, but you're like by the window reading a book. It's just really peaceful. It's usually quiet when it's raining. If it's or a good thunderstorm, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
So I love just, kind of a peaceful rainy day, and you could just kind of take some time for yourself. So
Sounds very good. Very nice. I think my favorite's always been just fast changing weather.
yeah,
Like not necessarily like hot to cold or cold to hot, but more like passing showers.
yeah,
Sunny 1 minute, 5 minute rain shower, sunny again.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that all day. I'm just fine.
Yeah.
That'd be great. We saw a couple of those days in June. All right, so the outlook, looking ahead now, this is just the raw data from the Climate Prediction Center. We'll jump into our own thoughts here from Ozarks First after this. But the Climate Prediction Center, in their July temperature outlook, says warmer weather over the west and the desert southwest, and that should extend a bit also up to the north and east for temperatures. Hot weather can be found over parts of southern Texas, and in between you'll find a corridor of near normal, if not just a little bit above normal, on temperatures for the month of July. So that's their temperature outlook. When you go in and look at their rainfall outlook, their precipitation outlook, a few pockets here and there of some drier weather and or wetter weather, especially in the East Coast states. But generally, overall, things look generally near normal on the precipitation outlook. And looking at some of the ensemble data, they call them ensemble weekly data. So you have the GEM weekly, you have the European ensemble weekly, you have the CME weekly. Those are kind of your climate forecasts that go out, 6 to 8 weeks out. Those are all kind of trending to follow a trend that would be in Springfield in the Ozarks, probably going to be looking near normal for both temperatures and rainfall. Temperatures could be slightly above normal. Other data says it may not be the case. And so we're kind of sticking it right in the middle. So nothing too extreme, it looks like one way or the other here in the Ozarks. I think the heat dome, there probably will be a heat dome that develops out west. A lot of the data does trend towards some hot and dry weather in the western part of the U.S. So I don't think that's going to change as we go into July. I think that'll probably stay a pretty similar trend to what they've seen recently out there.
yeah. I mean, this is the time of year that it starts to really just dry out, and
It does.
I don't like the heat. I really don't.
No.
I'm okay with like the June weather that we've had, the on and off rain, and then our 90s. But then,
Yeah.
especially in Oklahoma, you know what Oklahoma summers are like. It gets miserable really quickly.
They can be brutal.
Yeah. My family runs a fireworks stand down there, so sometimes I'm tasked with being outside and running the little portion out there, and it's not always fun. So especially not in Oklahoma July heat. So I hope that Springfield is a little bit better with handling the heat, but we'll find out.
That's interesting you say that, because moving up here and growing up in Oklahoma, then even being in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, they'd kind of be on that same north to south corridor as Oklahoma is in the plains, and they would just get baked
Yeah.
some summers. And they're farther north.
Yeah.
So you would think, well, maybe they're a little cooler. And there'd be bouts of cooler air occasionally, but
Mm-hmm.
generally between Topeka, Wichita, and Oklahoma City, down to Dallas, the summer times are all about the same.
Yeah.
Moving here to Springfield, though, this will be my third summer.
Mm-hmm.
It is noticeably cooler.
Okay, good.
And so
Good news.
it's been a pleasant surprise. It's odd because I don't know. I moved here and thought, man, is it going to be more humid? I thought maybe it was going to be higher humidity with the same level of heat. That I hadn't found that to be the case. We'll get 90-degree days
Yeah.
for sure, but then, after 5 days of 90s, we'll get 5 days of 80 degrees
Yeah.
and sunny, and so you catch those breaks from the heat, which you don't always get in the summers
No,
of Oklahoma.
you don't. No,
you don't
you do
always
not.
get those breaks, and those are nice to have up here.
And it lasts forever too. Like right when you think that the summer heat is up, it's October and it's still 90 degrees, and you're like, why? I can't. Yeah, especially when you're walking to class and you're just. I love the sweatshirt, like sweater weather, and
Oh, yeah.
so I hate counting down the days where I'm like, when can I get my sweaters out of the closet? And feels like those days never show up in Oklahoma. So
Well, I can tell you those days are not going to show up this week either
No.
in Springfield. Rachel, we're looking at the 4th of July forecast. Looks like 90s come back for 4th of July. We're okay today. We'll find kind of a comfortable forecast for today. Middle 80s, lower humidity, not crazy low, still a little humid, but not where you walk outside and you can just feel it. It's not going to be quite like that for today or for tomorrow. Back to the 90s, though, and humidity does come back up.
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 4th of July plans, though, if you're going out, forecast looks like it should go undisturbed for Friday fireworks. All right, now, Rachel, now you're not from here, obviously, but you got family in the area. You've been to Springfield plenty of times. Do you guys have any plans yet? You and your aunt and uncle, or going home maybe for the 4th? What are you doing this year?
Well, like I said, my family runs a fireworks stand, so I'm making the trek back to Oklahoma, and I'm gonna have to manage that. So,
all right,
it is. Let me tell you, Oklahomans do not play about their fireworks. They do not.
No?
So
No, they
they
don't.
started selling fireworks, I think, end of May. So they've been selling them for a while.
Long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Okay. And so I know around here it is kind of different because I grew up in an area, I mean, even in Edmond, we lived outside of city limits.
Yeah.
And so we'd have fireworks, no problem from the backyard. Around here in Springfield, though, if you live in town, they've got the firework ban. And so a lot of folks in town can't set off fireworks of their own.
Yeah.
And so I imagine where you grew up, kind of the same deal where it didn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Set off fireworks, then you go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in rural Oklahoma. There's
Oh, sure, yeah.
very few rules out there sometimes. But yeah, no.
Still the Wild West
Yeah.
in some cases.
Yeah.
Man.
No, but I mean, even here, obviously I kind of live out of city limits for Springfield, but
Sure, yeah.
my neighbors have shot off fireworks every day this week, and I've been sitting by my window and just watching them.
Kind of nice.
So yeah, it is nice.
Kinda
It's
nice to
nice when
see.
you're not the one paying for the fireworks, so somebody else is shooting the fireworks,
Oh, man.
and you get to watch them. So
That's the truth. And it's on a Friday this year, so
yeah,
folks don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, can't get any sleep. What are these dang fireworks going off all the time? No, Friday night, stay up late, unless you work Saturday morning, but
yeah.
most cases you're just fine. All right, well, you doing any shows? You're going back to Oklahoma to work the stand. Do you guys have any 4th of July traditions?
Yeah, so we have right across from the street or from our fireworks stand, there's Belmar, which is Toby Keith's country club, and they have this huge
okay.
show every single year. So usually we're open until midnight during 4th of July, so we don't get to do a lot of stuff on 4th of July, but we kind of, I mean, it dies down after a certain time because everyone's going and doing their fireworks, so
Right.
we just watch the Belmar show and pack up the store, and then usually it's the 5th or 6th we actually get to celebrate. So we never actually get to celebrate on the 4th anymore.
That's all right. This
So,
year it falls on the weekend, so
Yeah.
you probably won't be alone. Okay, now, correct me if I'm wrong. Would this be the first year that the Belmar Fireworks Show happens without Toby Keith? When did he?
it'd
die?
be the second year. Yeah.
Second year, okay. So, but I
Since
imagine they'll
last
probably go all
February.
out.
Yeah, I mean they did go pretty all out last year. It
Sure.
was very loud, a lot
Yeah.
of fireworks, but they always do a huge show. So it's really cool that we still get to participate in 4th of July stuff and see all of the fireworks from the store. So
Absolutely. Well, happy 4th. Rachel, happy 4th of July to you.
Yeah,
Happy
4th
4th
to
of
you.
July to you guys watching this. Be safe out there. This year it's going to be a warm and sticky 4th of July. Just wouldn't be fitting if that wasn't the case. And the weather looks to go pretty good. Now, there could be some rain showers over the weekend for Saturday and Sunday. Hit or miss, largely. Maybe a bigger complex coming through Monday with a cold front, potentially. We'll keep nailing that down as time gets closer to that. But in the meantime, have a good week. Enjoy this nicer weather we're having on this Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks just as nice, too, a little warmer there. But enjoy the week. Rain, few and far between through this 4th of July. Rachel, thanks for being here today. Thanks for hopping on. And
thank you for having me.
yes, thanks for being here. And folks, if you run into Rachel or know Rachel, give her a shout out. Let her know, hey, you're working with the best team in the Ozarks. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Happy Tuesday.